a fact that wild dogs are probably some of the most successful hunters in the bush. They are strategic, relentless, and work as a team. If you have never seen wild dogs hunt, then this video is a must for you as we count down 15 top wild dog attacks. Number 15. Wild dog versus wildebeest. Wild dogs are resilient and strategic hunters. This overhead view shows the wild dog chasing a wildebeest systematically. The wildebeest runs for its life, but it will eventually tire out, and that's what the wild dogs do best. They tire out their prey before dismantling them like a set of Lego blocks. On the African savanna, teamwork and endurance are key for success, and wild dogs possess both of these attributes tenfold. These wild dogs have managed to grab a smaller wildebeest, but all the action is happening behind the bushes. We can hear the wildebeest crying for help, but it's difficult to see anything until the camera moves. And then we see a horde of dogs all over the poor victim, whose life is obviously on the verge of ending. All we can hope is the animal didn't suffer, but by the looks of it, there is a slight possibility it did. This wildebeest finds itself in a precarious position. Some of the dogs are yanking on its snout, while others are biting at its backside. I'm not sure how long this tugging from one side to the other will last, but the wildebeest is clearly in tremendous pain, and it's not finding this the least bit interesting. The Fanatic brings you all the best content you want to see when it comes to the animal kingdom. If you want to see the latest confrontations between animals and the best animal videos, please subscribe now. We post new videos every day for your entertainment. Number 14. Wild dog versus antelope. This small antelope is trying to escape the grip of a lone wild dog, but it becomes increasingly difficult to fend off the predator. However, when a second dog shows up, you know this is the antelope's last moments on this planet. It's time to recite a few prayers and hope for the best. This baby kudu is being torn to shreds by these wild dogs. I mean, they are pulling the animal like it is made out of plasticine. I hope for the kudu's sake, the adrenaline kicked in and he didn't feel too much pain. This antelope happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and is getting eaten alive by a pack of fearless wild dogs. When wild dogs begin to bite into an animal, it's very rare the animal will escape. Number 13. Wild dog versus kudu. The kudu is a huge antelope that resembles a reindeer, and wild dogs enjoy eating it. These wild dogs pull on this kudu on the side of the road, and although the kudu is rather large and tries to kick out with its legs, the dogs are tenacious and manage to take it down and begin disemboweling it alive. The dogs bite through the animal ferociously, and there's nothing the kudu can do. A kudu is being pursued by a band of wild dogs. They bring the kudu down to the ground and start eating it alive. The tenacity of these wild dogs is astounding. Nothing will be able to change their minds once they have decided to launch an attack, except perhaps a huge hippo. This gives the wild dogs ample time to bite into their prey and injure it, before going all out and eating it. Number 12. Wild dog versus tsessebe. The tsessebe, also known as the common tsessebe, is a close relative of the bontebok. It has a comical appearance with high sloped shoulders that drop to a small rump that does not appear to be particularly robust. And guess what? The common tsessebe is a favorite of wild dogs who enjoy a good stand-up routine once in a while, especially when they're getting the last laugh. The show didn't continue long in this video, as the dogs all tugged in different directions, gulping down every piece of meat they could. The animal's pain must be unbearable, but I assume the dogs don't seem to mind as long as they are eating. Another tsessebe is immediately apprehended and learns what wild dogs are all about. There was nothing it could do, no matter how hard it tried. Imagine being born into a world where you are drop-shipped into the bush, and almost everyone there sees you as food or competition. Number 11. Wild dog versus buffalo. Buffalo are strong animals that have been known to face lions. They're enormous, and a good stab with one of their horns might be lethal. Wild dogs have little chance of bringing down a full-grown buffalo unless they are after a younger calf, which is exactly what they are doing in this video. They have surrounded the calf and are finishing it off right in front of its mother. It seems like the mother has stopped trying to defend her offspring because there are just too many dogs. After one last attempt, the mother is finally chased away from the area, and the dogs can eat in peace. If the mother knows what's good for her at this point, she's better off running away. The calf can't be saved at this point. Here's a bigger buffalo that's having a hard time with a few wild dogs. The two dogs are both biting the buffalo's rear end, while the rest of them watch the buffalo straight in the face to make sure it doesn't use its horns on them. We all know how this will end, and it's not looking good for the buffalo. This pack of wild dogs takes on a massive buffalo, and believe it or not, they manage to take it down. These dogs are not very big, but the things they are capable of accomplishing are beyond belief. Number 10. Wild Dog versus Impala. The impala is the food of choice for many African predators. It's extremely fast and not easy to capture, but once a predator lays its paws on an impala, it's almost a sure kill. The hard part is catching it. This impala remains in the water, hoping these wild dogs won't go in to bring it to shore. But one of the dogs goes for it, and with a little perseverance and some help from his friend, they manage to pull the impala towards them and back on land. Then they drag it as far away from the water as possible. Even though the impala tries to fend them off, it's not going anywhere except in the stomach of these dogs. This pack of wild dogs grabs this impala and pull it out of the water at the speed of light, and in minutes, they will have gobbled up the entire animal. These wild dogs just rip the insides of this impala while the impala is alive. They don't waste any time killing it. They just eat right through it. Everyone likes fresh food, and this is fresh at its best. These wild dogs are gutting this poor impala. It just sits there without moving. I'm not sure if it's dead yet, but it looks like it is. Number 9. Wild Dog versus Sambar Deer. A sambar deer visits a watering hole where he is cornered by a band of 6 dholes. The sambar deer screams for help right away. It makes a loud call every now and then since it knows it's in great trouble. It's a crazy world out there and things happen. The drama develops after more than an hour of struggling as the dholes take turns attacking the deer until it tires out and can't fight back. Like the seasoned hunters that they are, the dholes planned everything out. They had the entire area covered, with 4 of them stationed at each corner, preventing the deer from escaping. Finally, the sambar deer submitted and they ate it alive, cruelly. These dholes try to snatch a baby sambar, but the mama is trying to fend them off. The dholes insist and it becomes a battle of patience and grit. The dholes get a bite here and there, and every once in a while, the mother almost charges into them. Sometimes, the dholes even manage to drag the baby, but when the mama turns around, the dholes let go. It doesn't look good for the calf, and I'm not sure the dholes will give up until they kidnap the youngster. The mother is doing a good job, but the calf looks exhausted and ready to give up, and the mother is probably headed on that same path. These dholes target a large sambar, and one of the dholes is biting at the sambar's neck. The dholes finally take it down and begin to eat it alive. Number 8. Wild Dog versus Hyena. This hyena is in a lot of trouble, and it's not laughing about the matter. The hyena is encircled by a large pack of wild dogs, which it is attempting to defend against, but the attacks are coming in spurts from all sides. There are simply too many dogs attacking the hyena. I am truly astonished by the hyena's ability to keep its cool and stand its ground in the face of so many dogs for such a long time. When a hyena tries to get a portion of the dog's kill, it gets into difficulty, but the dogs can multitask and eat and fight at the same time. However, when a few more hyenas enter the fight, they can grab the carcass. However, the dogs do not give up lightly and assault the hyenas once more. The treasure is held by the 2 hyenas, but they are encircled by the wild dogs, and it's all out war now. The dogs assault the hyenas like a swarm of bullet ants, knocking the hyenas out and allowing them to recover the cadaver while the hyenas look at the stars. What a fight! This video shows a distressed hyena fleeing into the water to avoid a bunch of dogs pestering it. The dogs have finally left, and the hyena has made it through the day. These battles occur daily, proving that the savanna lifestyle isn't all fun and games. Number 7. Wild Dog versus Warthog. These wild dogs are on their 3rd warthog hunt of the day, and they surround another warthog. They begin to wear down the warthog until it is exhausted, and they will begin to tear flesh out of its body. For some reason, they stop attacking the warthog, and the warthog decides it's time to run away, but it goes looking for the dogs in the tall grass, which I really don't understand. This was one weird hunt if you ask me. The dogs abandoned the kill and the prey once it was free, wanted to get close to the predators. I guess this warhog is a masochist. Even though warhogs have razor-sharp tusks, a single warhog against a pack of wild dogs isn't going to cut it. When a warhog encounters a pack of dogs, it is aware of this and will not stay to interact. It sprints away, and it does it swiftly. Even digging a trench and going into defense mode may not be enough to stop the attack, however. These dogs will tire out the warhog, and when it lets its guard down, even for a few seconds, it will be game over. Wild dogs have no mercy. This poor warhog is being dismembered alive by these wild dogs, who are biting it from every angle and eating it alive. The wild dog's slogan is no mercy, no pity. The anguish is awful as they tear this unfortunate warhog to bits, but the dogs need to eat and the warhog is nice and tender. Number 6. Wild dog versus buck. This bush buck is attempting to avoid being eaten by these wild dogs, so it utilizes the boulders as a protective barrier until the dogs approach too close, at which point it dives into the water. But another dog is waiting for it on the other side, so it returns to the water and stays there. How long will the bush buck be able to avoid the dogs for? This video shows a pack of about 25 wild dogs successfully hunting a female water buck at Jones Dam in Kruger National Park. This pack of wild dogs tries to capture a female water buck, but she was able to hide behind a bush and keep the pack at bay until they lost interest and moved on to easier prey. The water buck ran down to Jones Dam on both occasions, most likely in quest of water to drink. The second victim attempted to do the same thing, but she was not so fortunate, and both her and her unborn calf were yanked down and devoured in a matter of seconds, as is common in Kruger National Park. A wild dog attacks this buck, and the wild dog does his best to suppress the animal until reinforcements arrive. When the rest of the gang arrives, it's time to fire up the grill and set the tables. Number 5. Wild dog versus oryx. Oryx are difficult prey for wild dogs, but they don't seem to mind. Anything that seems appealing is worth a try, as these wild dogs demonstrate in this video when they surround this oryx. When the dogs start pulling in all directions, the oryx has no choice but to hope for a quick death. The oryx is a huge antelope with a pair of long, sharp horns, but when you're speeding up against a horde of lunatics on all sides, you either need to be better armed or have blazing speed. Because this oryx calf is even less equipped than an adult, it stands no chance of ever seeing the light of day after this encounter. Another oryx has succumbed to the ravages of time. The oryx remains on the ground, believing it is better off, yet it appears to be making matters worse. When the facts are taken into account, however, there is no such thing as better when it comes to being hunted by wild dogs. It's simply horrible, if not worse. Number 4. Dog versus lizard. These dogs attack a monitor lizard, and the lizard doesn't have much of a chance against the dogs. Especially the pit bull, which constantly holds the lizard by the neck. The other dog, which I think is a Vizsla, but I'm not sure, just watches the pit bull destroy the lizard. After a long time, the reptile is killed, and the dogs take a breather. This pit bull circles around for a lizard before biting into it. The lizard is tough and resists the first attack. The pit bull goes for a second attack and bites into the lizard, but it doesn't last long. The dog bites the neck of the lizard and finally kills it. 2 more dogs attack a monitor lizard. This lizard is slightly bigger and more vivacious, but the dogs are not intimidated. One of the dogs keeps striking the tail of the lizard while the other dog watches. This battle is tougher for the dogs this time, but there is really only one dog fighting the lizard because the other one seems to be on vacation. Number 3. Wild dog versus gazelle. Here's a poor gazelle that was trying to escape the lethal grip of a pack of wild dogs, and unfortunately, it was grabbed and dragged to shore to be devoured. The gazelle is literally skewered on a spit and roast, but the dogs don't need for it to be cooked. They just eat it as they are roasting it. After being relocated to this animal reserve, these wild dogs get up in the morning and head for the closest breakfast place in town, which happens to be right around the corner. The dogs order a Thompson's Gazelle, and it comes with eggs, potatoes, and orange juice. The dogs forget about the extras and just enjoy the gazelle as is. Number 2. Wild dog versus puku. These travelers witnessed a herd of puku running while on a safari in South Wangwa National Park, and their guide stated that they were being chased by a band of wild dogs. They grabbed and killed one in the distance before killing another just in front of their vehicle. Mother Nature can be so cruel. That was a pretty nasty sighting. The poor puku did suffer because it was only attacked by 2 dogs, so it died slowly and painfully. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for these tourists to see. These 2 wild dogs trap an antelope in a swamp, and only one of the dogs bites the antelope. The other dog looks like it's too hot and sits in the water resting momentarily, until hunger kicks in again and he rejoins the hunt. The 2 dogs are efficient and are able to subdue the antelope, biting it from both sides. The dogs finally gut the antelope open and begin to eat. Number 1. Wild dog versus rabbit. This poor rabbit isn't much of a meal for this pack of wild dogs, but the dogs will take it anyhow. Food is food in the bush, and this could serve as an appetizer, or they may have already eaten, and this is dessert. Whatever it is, the rabbit is cooked, fried, and roasted. Rabbits are not exactly the prey of choice for wild dogs because they're so tiny, and feeding a pack of dogs require a lot more than a small rabbit. But for the time being, the dogs take what they can get. 2 dogs find a rabbit in the yard and fight for it. Both dogs have bitten into it, and they don't want to let go. I'm pretty sure these dogs will not eat the rabbit, so the scuffle is perhaps more of a way to show domination. Some of these hunts are intense and are extremely difficult to watch. Wild dogs show no mercy, and it's understandable because they are hungry. Even humans abandoned in the bush with no food for long periods of time would start behaving like this. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below. Well, that's it for our countdown of 15 top wild dog attacks. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.